take
Who signed you on?
You see, it's all very well you saying that. It's all very well all of us here in jobs that are creative, where you can see if you go work, if you've got a talent, you can get to the top, and you can get, you know, handsome living. Now, you're not going to tell me that you are going to be compared with somebody who's sticking door handles on a car for 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, that he's not going to get frustrated, that he doesn't deserve an extra quid if he wants one. Of course his work ethic is money. It's got to be. He doesn't get the satisfaction from the job that we get. I mean,
that's true.
You
of course
are talking,
it's true.
You've talked...
Of course it's true.
His inference is the man who's sticking the doorknobs on has got a job that's monotonous and dreary.
Absolutely.
What do you think doing something night after night? I've done this play now, The Globe. I mean, I've said it so many times I'm beginning to wonder what it means, you know. You keep on saying anything long enough and you begin to think you're daft, don't you?
I mean, that's the trouble. I mean, everybody does seem to think that our work is glamorous.
It's fabulous. They're fabulously glamorous. Not at all. It's a simple business of self-discipline and going on night after night and doing it as well as you can.
Right,
and if I have to stick doorknobs on, and I've done it, I've stuck doorknobs on, I've painted my own walls when I haven't got the money to employ a decorator, I'll do it because I like doing it, I want to do it well.
But the other difference is, Kenneth, that the guy who goes on strike is not earning your salary. He's not earning 400 or 500 quid a week.
What about the period I didn't have any
success?
Then I spent, what, 7 years in the provinces, bumming around. That wasn't very successful.
No, of course not. But there was always because you backed your talent, because your talent went in an area where talent pays off in the end, then you had a horizon, you could see ahead.
Well, what are you asking for? A world where every single job leads to some marvellous end?
Yes.
Well, all jobs can't be like that.
Well, precisely. And that's the problem.
But nevertheless...
I mean, so therefore you must allow people their frustrations.
No, they must accept their limitations, surely.
We don't get pensions.
Come on.
They must be allowed to...
That's a Superman argument.
It isn't. Voltaire said every man must dig in his own bit of garden. There wasn't much wrong with Voltaire's philosophy, was there?
No.
Sir John, could we have a calm word, because Kenneth and I are getting rather excited.
By the way, do you know what they say his last words were, Voltaire?
No.
They said, but apparently a priest came and they said, you know, will you now make your peace and renounce the devil and all his works? And he said, oh, it's a bit late in the day to be making enemies.
Sir John, were you going to say something about...
I've forgotten.
And I don't blame you at all. I don't blame you at all. Poetry. Let's talk about poetry for
well, some of his lines have absolutely reverberated in my head.
Yes.
And we were talking about you the other day. You weren't there. And Maggie was quoting a thing of yours which has always stayed in her head. What was that line you were saying?
The phone for the fish knives, Norman.
The phone for the fish knives, Norman, that poem.
Yes.
And I was saying the one that always stays in my head is the, you know, the prayer of the lady about the air raids. It says, Lord, keep beneath thy special care 149 Cadogan Square. Which I love.
Yes. And come friendly bombs and fall on Slough.
Yes, you shouldn't mention
All the trouble I got in with that.
Did you have trouble in there?
Yes, that was when I was a prep school master on 30 quid a term in Gerrard's Cross.
Really?
Yeah, all in, of course, but still didn't leave you much for cigarettes.
No. But no Harpic.
No.
And what kind of problem did it create? Did you...
Well, you can't libel a corporation, thank goodness. You can libel an individual, like the borough engineer or somebody like that, but not a conglomerate body. But they've always, they've been very nice, generous to me in Slough, considering I was about 19 when I wrote that, and I'm now, goodness knows how old, 65, nearly 66. Why it should be remembered, I can't think. In those days, there was everyone was very horrified by the new tendencies of things coming. We could see the evil world of tall skyscrapers and nothingness that we've been describing arriving. And that was what the anger of that poem was about. And the lack of consideration for the individual as a separate person. Why I must go on for a second. Why I like actors very much, and is because they're givers, not takers.
Yes.
And it's the takers we're always fighting against. You have to spend your whole time every day doing that thing of being en rapport with the audience. Very exhausting.
Yes. What one poet called the eternal reciprocity of tears. You see, to understand about comedy is to understand that, because the pathos, which has got to be inherent in a comedy performance, if you haven't got it, you haven't got any comedy. If they're not really basically sorry and really identifying with your situation. There's a poem by Hal Burton somewhere about, you know, Caesar must die in them. You know, their lives must be rehearsed, their deaths must pass.
Kenneth, we are sadly running out of time.
It's a disgrace. You
Terrible,
said so
isn't
much
it?
longer.
I know.
I asked for over an hour last time. I was sandwiched in for a couple of minutes. It's a disgrace. It really is.
I tell you what, you don't have to make good use of those couple of minutes, though, don't you? Kenneth, you were going to read, I believe.
Oh, yes, I got it here.
Because you like me, we're not flattering. We are a Betjeman fan.
Yes.
No, yes, we were talking about this.
And
We're going to do this one.
Yes.
We're going to read this together.
Please.
So now, this. You want to tell them the title?
The title is called Death in Leamington, and it's one of the earliest first poems you ever wrote, Sir John, isn't it?
Yes. First poems I got published, yes.
First published, yes. Could you?
She died in the upstairs bedroom by the light of the evening star that shone through the plate glass window from over Leamington Spa.
Beside her, the lonely crochet lay patiently and unstirred, but the fingers that would have worked it were dead as the spoken word.
And nurse came in with the tea things, breast high mid the stands and chairs. But nurse was alone with her own little soul, and the things were alone with theirs.
She bolted the big round window. She let the blinds unroll. She set a match to the mantel. She covered the fire with coal.
And tea, she said in a tiny voice. Wake up, it's nearly 5. Oh, chintzy, chintzy cheeriness, half dead and half alive.
Do you know that the stucco is peeling? Do you know that the heart will stop? From those yellow Italianate arches, do you hear the plaster drop?
Nurse looked at the silent bedstead, at the grey, decaying face, as the calm of a Leamington evening drifted into the place. She moved the table of bottles away from the bed to the wall, and tiptoeing gently over the stairs, turned down the gas in the hall.
That's beautiful.
Oh, how nice. Thank you very much indeed.
You enjoyed that, did you?
That's a lovely
I'd like to
poem.
kiss
Thank
you.
you.